This video is sponsored by my boy, the Predator. I'm sorry, I know this is an Alien review, but the Predator is my boy, man. I love it so much. Alien Romulus was directed by Fede Alvarez and released in theaters last weekend. I saw the film last night, and I didn't get a chance to do a review that night, but I'm going to make up for it now. This movie is absolutely worth it. I was anticipating this movie for the whole year. Fede Alvarez, the director of the Evil Dead remake, which was awesome, taking up the helm of the director of this new entry into the franchise, a franchise that is really, really awesome and has a big cultural impact when it comes to sci-fi horror, and really horror in general, I would argue, as well, with Ridley Scott's Alien and James Cameron's Aliens. Now, all the other movies, but I'm happy to confirm for you guys that Romulus, in my opinion, is the best Alien movie that we have gotten since those first two movies. I had a blast with this movie. Now, if you haven't seen the film, we will get into spoilers here in a bit. You want to click off before that section, because we are going to get into some nastiness, some grossness, some goriness, some twists and turns, and just altogether a chest-bursting amount of spoilers. So, if you guys don't want to get spoiled, make sure to get off of here before that section. But I'm going to give my quick rundown here, because I do want to get straight into spoilers. So, I really, really enjoyed Alien Romulus. The atmosphere, the scenery, the visuals, the sound design, the performances from our characters. Particularly Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson as Andy, who those two were the standouts. As well, you have Isabella Merced from the smash hit Madam Web. You might also remember her for being Dora the Explorer. She's done a lot better movies than that, and this is now one of them. She was also great in this. The film is really intense. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. There is some great scares in there, especially one towards the end will definitely get you. If it did not, I don't know how. You were very resilient if it did not get you. This movie makes some choices, and some of the choices with dialogue and a certain character that is in this movie that doesn't look that great. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but that was a bit distracting to me, because when you have a movie that is so immersive, you're immersed in the sound, the visuals, you're into these characters, you actually want to see them get out. These are probably like the most likable characters in the franchise since the ones that we had back in Aliens. It's a movie with great thrills. It's got some great action, some awesome memorable scenes, some great xenomorph action, some very violent and just disgusting moments, like if you've seen from the trailer when they are pulling this chest burster off of this girl's face, the tail comes out of her mouth. That was disgusting, and that is just the tip of the iceberg. If you thought that girl got off easy, oh, just you wait. This movie has some gory goodness in it. So, I'm giving Alien Romulus an 8 out of 10 for right now. Now, it could go up, or it could stay at an 8. I don't see it going down to a 7. I still really loved this. This was awesome. It was a memorable film. It's a memorable theater experience. Definitely go out and see this in the theater if you haven't. And if you are a returning fan of the franchise, like me, there are going to be things that don't work for you. Like the character that I mentioned. And some of the lines that are a bit unneeded. And some choices that were a bit out there. But there was one choice in particular towards the third act where I was like, this is going in an unexpected direction, but I'm actually digging it. So, it's going to be a divisive film for sure, especially that ending. But for the most part, guys, it's so good. It's a movie that deserves your money right now. If you've already seen films like Deadpool and Wolverine, Twisters, the movies that you should be seeing instead of Borderlands, then go watch Alien Romulus for sure. So, thanks so much for watching the non-spoiler section. Let's get into those spoilers. So, entering our spoiler section here, I want to talk about the characters. We have Kaylee Spaney, who of course you might know from Civil War, Priscilla, and she's back in this movie. She actually just nailed a role in Knives Out 3 as well. She's going places for sure. And she plays our main character, Rain, where she has this brother. Well, it's not really her brother, but she sees him as her brother, this android named Andy. And the actor, I still need to look at Letterboxd because I'm bad at remembering names. David Johnson, I don't know why that's so hard to remember. David Johnson does really, really great in this. He might actually, along with Kaylee Spaney, those two might be the standout performances of the film. You genuinely want to see them get out, and you see that bond, that chemistry between Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson. They really handle that well. And I like Isabella Merced's character, and they go some really, really, really dark places with her. She is pregnant, and as soon as she said she was pregnant, I was like, oh my god, this is not going to end well for her. And it really doesn't. I'm going to get to the third act here. I know I'm shifting around here, but this is kind of how it works. But in the third act, you get Isabella Merced's character injecting herself with some of this concoction that is kind of a reference to Prometheus, where they were working on this rat. They were injecting it, and they tested it. They killed it, but they injected it with it, and then it came back to life. But as soon as they walk away from the screen, the rat has a chest burster come out of it. So as soon as this girl injected herself, I was like, oh shit. But it doesn't go that direction. Instead, she gives birth to a human xenomorph hybrid, which I thought was fucking disgusting. But so cool at the same time. It's very disturbing. The scene is, Isabella Merced, she gives a blood-curdling scream in this movie earlier when the first character gets killed off with the chest burster. If you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. And here, she's just fucking horrified. Like, oh my god, I could not even imagine. And this girl goes through it because she's been already stabbed by the alien at this point. She had to see her friends die. She sees the one chick get chest bursted, and then this other dude that's like a smartass towards Andy, the android, because we find out that in the past the android sealed his parents into the mining because they come from a mining planet. This dude tries electrocuting the little cocoon thing that the xenomorph is, shedding. He's becoming what we know him as. And at first I was like, oh, that's pretty smart. And then I realized, oh, but he bleeds acid. And sure enough, the dude gets stabbed in the eye with the tail. And if that wasn't bad enough, the acid starts falling down all over his fingers, his arm, his chest, and that kills him. I was like, dude, you were a dick, so you kind of did deserve that, but that was fucking brutal. Then you have Isabella Merced's brother's character, who is, like, such a noble guy. I mean, he doesn't quite reach the height of, like, Rains or Andy, but this guy is, he's admirable. And he sacrifices himself, he gets in front of Rains and gets stabbed by one of the xenomorphs, and then he gets picked up, and then all of these xenomorphs come towards him, and he gets there's a head bite before they get to him, but you can just imagine that man got devoured, because you see the blood and shit all dripping down. That man, there was nothing left of that guy. So, quite a brutal death for him, quite a bad way to go out. But back to the birthing scene, we get this pale white thing, which I originally thought was going to be one of the engineers from Prometheus, but it turns out to be a hybrid. It's almost like a Slender Man type thing. It's like a human hybrid xenomorph that is like super tall, and it kills Isabella Merced's character because he goes up to it and you think he's gonna have like some kind of allegiance to it, and then she kind of like shrugs him off, and he gets pissed off and kills her. I think he like bites into her neck or something. I have no clue. It's kind of off screen. And now we are just with Kaylee Spaney's character, because at this point David Johnson's character Andy, he gets his throat slit. He's okay though, because he's an android, and she says at the end of the film that she'll fix him up. She manages to get this xenomorph, human kind of hybrid thing, the Slendermorph is what I'm gonna call it, the Slendermorph, to the cargo bay, where she drops this fucking cargo bay on top of the thing. Not before she's jump scared by it, because she's hanging on by a little, like, a cable, and, like, into the vacuum of space. She's hanging onto a cable, and then the thing comes out of nowhere and, like, gets all in the camera. I was shook. Just going back to that one complaint I had about the immersion being broken at certain points. They have a reference to aliens in this movie where Andy gets this xenomorph, like, fights it off and kills it before it kills Rain, and he's like, stay away from her. You bitch. And I was just like, in the moment I chuckled because it's just that natural, like, brain, like, oh, I know that line, that's iconic. And then later on I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, that really wasn't needed. We didn't need that, did we? I did like this one returning line where we have the return of Ash, played by Ian Holmes. Well, played by Ian Holmes in the OG Alien film. And he's like, he says his quote from the first movie. He's like, I don't like your chances, but you have my sympathies. Like, that's good. I liked that, because it makes sense. That's the same, it's the same model. It makes sense. But the CGI, the deep faking or whatever, sorry, not the deep faking, but the CGI face just did not work, unfortunately. It was very distracting. Like, from the first time I saw it, I was like, wow! That sticks out like a sore thumb in such a visually pleasing movie. Because other than that one effect, this is, if not one of, if not the most visually pleasing horror film that we've gotten in a minute. But how did you guys like it? Did you guys like Alien Romulus? Did you like any of the Alien movies after Aliens? That's what I want to know. But thanks so much for watching the review nonetheless, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, let me know what you thought of Alien Romulus down in the comments below. Take care, everyone, and watch out for those chest bursters. I'm kidding. We don't have the money in the budget for that. Goodbye.